Hi everyone, it's Norman Kochneck here on Eyes on Cricket, and we're here today to talk about, as you can see in the actual introduction, it's going to be specifically about the IPL, and we have a very exciting period of time which is about to occur. The coverage of the IPL for 2021 into its 14th year will involve a whole host of guest speakers. In fact, I've allocated teams to certain people in our group. It may change, but at this point we've got it pretty good. Chris is having computer problems, but he'll be here very shortly. But in fact, we have a very interesting spread of people. And I'll just give you an example of some of the. I've allocated teams to certain guest presenters or guest speakers, and we'll be able to talk about it. So I can say hello from Barnstead boys here. We'll be talking some issues around COVID. There's some breaking news even further on COVID. I can see Biram Irani there. Axel Patel got positive testing, which we're going to talk about. The reality is there's a fair bit going on. The IPL already has restrictions on media not being allowed to be at part of the stadium makeup, nor are fans. And then with some of the players coming down, COVID's obviously a little bit out of control. And I shouldn't just include any of it across the world, as a matter of fact. But Australia, surprisingly, has a very good situation. I've got Chris Vernon joining us. Chris is not quite coming on yet. He'll be here in a second. The reality is we've got a number of high official side. Prathamim, Chris Vernon is the best. Well, he certainly thinks he is. No, he's good, very good. Chris fan club's here. The fact is that we do have a bit of an interesting little skit about Laurel and Hardy, which we've got. I think you may have seen that. It would have been in the pages that we would have shown. It would have been quite clear. It was a bit of fun that we've got going on regarding the whole relationship that we have. Chris and I have a great relationship, as you probably all know. We've been very lucky, and we've grown together throughout this channel. And Shirai Gayatri, am I coming to India soon? I would be there now. The only things that are stopping me is my mother's health back here in Australia. And the other thing is allowing me to go in there, because with COVID restrictions, it's quite tight at the moment, and it's not getting any better. So the moment I can go there, I'm coming there. I mean, the likes of Alan Mullally are going to be with me in northern India for a bowling clinic as well, but we're going to be there for the IPL if we can. It looks unlikely at this point, but we'll try. Certainly the World Test Championship in England is another focus, but I think the other important aspect is the relationship to the World Cup. That'll be a main component of what we'll be targeting very soon, along with a number of other series which will be related to. So Chris is on very short. I don't know what he's done. He's got some computer problems. He came up for a second on the screen, now he's gone off. So just quickly, we've got the 8 teams that we know of. Now, at this point in time, the Mumbai Indians will be allocated to Simon Willis, and he'll be updating us in conjunction with us all on that. So that's Mumbai Indians with Simon Willis. RCB, the Royal Challengers Bangalore, will be with Chris Vernon. Delhi Capitals, well, Delhi Capitals and Kolkata Knight Riders, both Aparna Saini and I will be dueling on those. We'll be helping out with both. We'll probably doing both and doing them separately, but also covering both, as I said, Delhi Capitals and Kolkata Knight Riders. At this point, Rajasthan Royals is with Adam Holyoke. Punjab Kings is with Monty Panesar, and Sunrise Hyderabad will be David Gravening, so he'll be also involved. Chennai Super Kings will be with Priti Uppala, so she'll be also involved.
Morning.
So, Chris, have you forgotten how to log in, have you?
No, I haven't had my computer on for a couple of days, so it just took a little while to remember how to work.
To wake up.
Yeah, it was bank holiday here yesterday. Obviously, it was a Good Friday, so yeah, I had my computer off.
Well, I'm glad you're here, because we've missed you, and our viewers have missed you.
Yeah, well, they I hope so, but you know, they're usually pretty mean to me, so I needed a few days to you know, to get away from Garib and you know, Sai. You know, they're always really mean to me, so I had to take a few days off.
So with the Laurel and Hardy, who's Laurel and who's Hardy?
I would suggest that looking on sort of physical attributes that you would suit Stan Hardy, Oliver Hardy. I would be Stan Laurel, and you'd be Oliver Hardy. I've got them mixed up there.
Okay. Size over. Yeah. Okay. I get it. I do get it. Okay. So, and by the way, viewers, did you all enjoy that video of the spooky batting of Chris Vernon? It was a bit of fun for me, and yes, I was tongue in cheek. Yes, Chris's batting looked particularly good, but he hasn't faced me often enough, so we don't really know how good he is. Okay, so Chris, thanks for being with us. Alan Mullally's joining us. He's going to be with us, but he's under strict instruction to talk about IPL only, and he knows that coming on. I've talked about the so-called eight teams, as you know.
Yeah.
I've talked about, you may have seen that, Chris, in the messaging. Mumbai Indians is with Simon Willis. RCB's with you, Chris. Delhi Capitals and Kolkata Knight Riders. A partner and I are fighting over who will do what, but we're going to do it together, those two. So effectively, we're covering those two. Chennai Super Kings is with Pretty. Sunrisers Hyderabad is with David Graveney. David Warner, David Graven. I thought that'd be a nice combination. Monty will have Punjab Kings. There's some relationship there. And Rajasthan Royals will be with Adam. But I want you to quickly name the captains of these eight teams. Mumbai Indians will Rohit Sharma. We know that. RCB will be probably Kohli.
Yeah, will be Kohli, yeah.
Delhi Capitals, we know now, is going to be Rishabh Pant.
Yep.
Chennai Super Kings would probably be Dhoni, unless he has a deputy that Raina might be involved. I'm not sure. Sunrise Hyderabad. I'm guessing Dave Warner's going to be captaining that.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. If I haven't, I've been a bit aware of it the last sort of week or so. So, yeah, I need to. I'm going to check.
I'm pretty sure he will be in that.
I thought Kane Williamson was captain potentially there. So yeah, I can check.
Oh well, okay. Matt May will be Kane Williamson and Dave Warner putting the roles together. And then you have Punjab Kings. Now, is that KL Rahul? I think that's KL Rahul.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah. And then Kolkata Knight Riders.
Owen Morgan.
And then Rajasthan Royals.
Will be Sanju Samson, I think, has taken over the captaincy there.
So we'll go through again. Mumbai Indians is Sharma.
Yeah.
RCB is Kohli. Delhi Capitals is Rishabh Pant. Chennai Super Kings, Dhoni, perhaps with Raina. Sunrisers Hyderabad, you're saying a combination of...
It looks like Warner. I've just had a look. It looks like it's going to be, David
Warner. Okay. But Kane Williamson's playing for the same team, isn't he? He's playing for Sunrisers Hyderabad.
Sorry, I missed that.
Now, Sunrisers Hyderabad is who Kane Williamson's playing for?
Yes.
Okay. And then Punjab Kings, we talked about, there was KL Rahul, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kolkata Knight Riders is Owen Morgan.
Yep.
And then Rajasthan Royals, you said, was
Sanju Samson.
So they're the eight captains. So, obviously we've got a lot to talk about. There's a notable amount of Australians like Josh Philippe, Josh Hazlewood, both out.
Yep.
They're talking at Hessen, who's coaching RCB, is saying Maxwell fits the RCB requirements in the middle order.
Yeah, I think it's a great pickup for them. I think you might see a different Glenn Maxwell this year. I think bit of a change, fresh start. Almost, he's been in good form, hasn't he, for Australia? So they always needed a finisher in that middle order. RCB, they've always been fairly top heavy with the batting. With Kohli, De Villiers, McCullum, Finch, Gale. We know they've always sort of really loaded in the top. So they could have a good finisher in the middle. And I think that's going to be a massive plus for them.
So yet again, I'll go back to the Australians for a minute. Mitchell Marsh, Josh Philippe, Josh Hazlewood. Pat Cummins is definitely playing, isn't he?
Mitchell Marsh has gone home, is not going, is he?
Mitchell Marsh has gone home.
Jason Roy.
By Finn Allen. Is that right?
Jason Roy.
Jason Roy, sorry. But
Finn Allen's got to be a proper pickup for Sunrisers. That's certainly an upgrade. I know that obviously Marsh bowls, but they've got Jason Holder there as well. So Brathwaite potentially as well. they've not. I don't think they've lost anything, and adding one of the world's best opening batsmen in there surely is has to be a massive.
So Finn Allen's replaced Josh Philippe. That's the other replacement.
RCB, I think.
Yep. Harbhajan Singh is playing for the Kolkata Knight Riders, and he's saying he's doing what he needs to, is required to succeed. Morgan recovering well from injury to play for KKR's opener. Great news. There's quite a few positives there. So injury gave Shami more time to be ready for the IPL2021, which is interesting. Dan Christian has unfinished IPL business, they're saying. Raina and Jadeja enter CSK bubble. South African players to leave Pakistan series early for the IPL. So there's quite a bit of movement there. But we'll be talking about COVID in a minute because, as you know, there's been some developments about Axel Patel, apparently.
I saw he tested positive. There's just a lot of the cases are rising quite quickly, aren't they? And I guess in a country like India with such a large population, it's probably, once it gets going, it's quite hard to stop. I mean, we've seen it in the UK, and the UK is probably 100 times smaller than the India in terms of population.
So we the discussion point with India at the moment is also about the lifestyles of some of these Australian players that have made the IPL. And what I'll be doing tomorrow, a bit of a scoop, guys, is I will be visiting certain people's homes here in Sydney, which are literally around the corner. Pat Cummins bought a property. I could probably throw a stone at his property. Dave Warner and Steve Smith don't live very far away. Moses Enriques, they're all here. Is Moses Enriques in this tournament?
I think he's. Yes, I think he is. I think I can't remember where, but I'm fairly sure he is somewhere.
well, the Coogee, Maroubra and Clovelly populations, which is surrounding me, are decimated because all of our people are over in India. We've lost 4 or 5 of our main cricketers. So I'll be going to their homes tomorrow and have a bit of a look-see on the way into their houses. One's a particularly very street-lined street. I know it very well. So Kamran Sawar is saying he is in Punjab. That must be Moses Enriques.
Yeah, there's someone else says he's with Hyderabad. So official side. I'm looking at the Hyderabad team sheet now.
Official side saying Enriques is with Sunrisers Hyderabad. We'll see.
I can't see him, so I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong.
I'll be losing an hour as of 3 a.m. in the morning. Our daylight saving goes back. Did yours already move forward? Or?
Last weekend, we went forward. So we've lost an hour, but last weekend we moved forward.
So that means, what time is it now in England?
10 to 12.
Well, it's 10 to 10 here at the moment.
Yeah. Do you go forward or back?
Back.
So it'd be 10 to 9. Okay, so it works quite well with the our time.
So it'll be exactly 12 hours, then, won't it?
No, it'd be less than that. It'll be 9 hours.
Okay, so that's 9:30 p.m. now in Australia. Okay.
9:30, 9:50.
9:50, sorry.
It's 11:50 here.
Okay, so effectively we'll go back to 8:50 for 11:50.
Yeah, so it'll
make
be
9 hours.
9 hours.
Okay, all right. Let's just let. So there's some of the talking points I want to. Coley admits to being confused in the England series, which is a completely unrelated matter. But it looks as though Heston's predicting Maxwell have a big one for RCB. That Marshall has opted out for personal reasons, as we know, for Jason Roy. Finn, I keep forgetting Finn's last name. Finn Allen for Josh Philippe.
Allen.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a real pity for Josh Philippe because I thought it was his big opportunity, and the fact that he's not playing. There seems to be. I mean, I wonder whether there are excuses being used. I mean, Josh Hazel says he withdraws. He's going to have a big 12 months posted. I find that rather incredible because I think that considering there's a World Cup happening in India, the best form of practice is the IPL.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? Mark Wood's pulled out. I know that Tom Curran and Tom Banton sort of. I think that the bubble and everything like that, I think it's quite a struggle. And I don't know what it's. Obviously, the Australians going over. It probably takes quite a big. I know Mark Wood pulled out because of the bubble, and he wanted to spend some time at home with his family before the rest of the year. But I know it's good preparation, but it's good to see that these guys aren't prioritising the IPL as the number one. You know, they're seeing as international careers are more important, and I respect, you know, Josh Hazelwood if he's saying I've got a long year with the Ashes in mind, and you know, to save me from burning out or to be fresh for the Ashes, it means I'm missing the IPL. Then I respect that.
Oh no, it's not a matter of not respecting it at all. I'm not suggesting that, but did you like the photograph that I used for this particular the thumbnail? Did you see the thumbnail?
I did see it. Yeah, I did see it.
That was an accident.
Was it? I didn't remember your captain being so short.
I thought it was a bit of fun. All right, so how have you been, Chris? By the way,
I'm fine. Been really busy actually. Yeah, everything's sort of started opening up. We can get back to coaching. So this week I'm doing 3 days coaching. So yeah, might struggle to be about. We'll have to sort out a new time for us to do it, because this sort of time is likely to not be very easy for me. So we'll sort something out.
But with the IPL being on, we won't be doing this time slot anyway. It'll be likely not to be. We're going to do. There's a couple of things I'm doing with Debashis at the moment with extra time. He's now got freed up the live platform, so we'll be doing a live platform with them for half an hour.
Awesome.
And then we'll do a further extension on our own. So it's a good lend for the two, so that people will be watching us on extra time and then can watch us on our platform as well. So we'll keep some tidbits back for us. All right. So sorry, Moses Enriques is bought by Punjab Kings this year. He'll play for Punjab Kings. I actually thought that he'd been bought elsewhere. So yeah, but the fact is, Moses Enriques, Dave Warner, Steve Smith, and now Pat Cummings are all in the Bronte, Coogee, Clovelly, Maroubra region of Sydney, and I'll be going there.
Future Test captain Pat Cummings.
No hope of being captain. Shouldn't say no. He'll be vice captain, certainly. But captaincy, no, I don't think that's going to happen. Especially if Steve Smith is flapping his gums about being captain without even being given the selection process. We haven't heard a word from Tim Payne. We have heard from Justin Langer, and that's quite a discussion in itself. The question is, a lot of people are talking about whether he should be captain, and that's a very divided comment. Monty Panesar, you would have heard our talk. Monty Panesar with both Paul and Sam Carter and Pat from Queensland. We talked about the very topic. The Australian guys, the threesome, they said they reckon he should be playing, and that the ball tampering has happened throughout all of the different levels of cricket. So why are we being singled out? And it's a fair point, but Monty was adamant, and he said Justin Langer made it very clear that they're happy with the way things are, which means Tim Payne will stay. Anshuman Gautam, which is actually you know who Anshuman Gautam is?
No.
He's the real Music Harmony.
Is it?
Look at the photo.
Well, I don't know. I'd like to see
it is.
Music Harmony as just a mystery man, like the stick pixelated.
Well, Anshuman, I'm sort of afraid he's outed himself. He's no longer going as Music Harmony. He's coming as Anshuman Gautam. And Anshuman, you will be coming on the program as well as a guest speaker now that you've come out from being Music Harmony. I'm glad.
I'll have to miss that one. He's always too mean to me, Music Harmony. He always, yeah.
Maybe he's
talk in the presence of such a man.
Maybe he's studying facts.
He asked about the fantasy league. I'm having a problem. The one that we usually use with our friends isn't available at the moment in the UK for some reason. So I don't know whether that's because it hasn't come online yet. Or they haven't set up.
Can we create our own? Do we have to have one that's already made? Can't we create our own?
Well, I mean, you have to do it via a platform that adds all the points up and works it all out. So yeah, I'm just looking into what's the best platform at the moment. The one we've used before isn't available at the moment, so which is a shame because that's a really good one. So I'll leave it with me and we'll work something out this week.
Okay, so guys, you've heard it from Chris. There'll be a fantasy platform or fantasy league.
Hopefully.
For that. We're going to have shows after every single match. In some cases, if it's a significant day, we may have a but we'll definitely have a post-match with either my platform or a collaborative platform. In fact, I've got a great link on my community page of me doing the commentary over Rishabh Pant when he scored the winning runs. You need to listen to it, okay? I'm pretty happy with it. Okay. So Vibhav Sahu wants to see India versus Australia in the T20 World Cup final. I'm not hanging my hat on that one, Vibhav. I don't think that Australia's got any hope at this point unless something dramatic happens. It'll be India against England, unless the West Indies or Pakistan fly off the wall. But it's going to be an India-England final, as is the way that they've played recently. They're both in brilliant form. So Biram Irani has actually listened to that one. I'm glad. That's good. And how about a mid-inning show and watch a long party? If we had enough hours in the day, we'd do that buck all day. I'd love to do that. Maybe we'll see how we go with a mid-match one. But I think I will certainly be doing after. We're going to be doing it live after every single match. There'll be a platform extra time that'll be doing it with me, and there'll be also our platform as well. And Sri Harsha, a magnificent platform they are. They're going to be doing some background stuff for me as well. We've got some great guns on our side. It's going to be very different, hopefully. With Chris Vernon, I mean, Chris, I'm going to have to be careful. I might put him on a pedestal here, which may be dangerous. But although your batting was only in the nets, none of the foot. We saw some remote distant shot of you apparently scoring your 100 and people clapping, but that could have been anyone out there. I can barely see, who that. In fact, the non-striker's always covering you, and I'm a bit suspicious whether your dad's giving me a bit of a bum steer with that.
That was me, Norman. It was me. You'll be pleased to know that my first game of the season is this coming Saturday. So
we're going to get some visuals.
We might do. The league games are being live streamed this year for the whole season. They've bought a camera that can live stream all the games. So I mean, if you wanted to post the link to on your page and get some people watching a live stream for a league game of cricket, then more than welcome to do that.
I wasn't going that far.
Well, people might want to watch. I don't think we've got any Indian overseas. Stuart Binney was the overseas for a side 2 years ago. I got him out. He's in my collection, so that was one of my good scalps.
Full toss.
It was a good length ball that he tried to drive, and he chipped it straight to the extra cover on the catch. Little swinger. There's a couple of South
after he hit 4 fours off the previous 4 balls.
He didn't hit me for any runs. I think he got 0. I think he got him up for a duck or 1 or something. I'll find the scorecard somewhere.
Okay. All right. So I think Delhi Capital has the most balanced team. Garrett Banker, I totally agree with you.
I don't know. I think Mumbai Indians have got the best side.
Well, we know they have. They've won 2 in a row, but they can't keep winning.
No, but I think they've still got the best side.
Oh, I think Delhi Capitals. I'm pretty impressed with their team, to be honest. Come on, so you forgot Delhi. I haven't forgotten Delhi. What are you talking about?
Norman hasn't stopped going on about Delhi.
But it's because Kolkata Knight Riders is my favourite side, so I'm not biased. Okay. All right, so just get back to some facts now. The number of Australian players are rather interesting. The insertion of a few of the players we're seeing is significant. Maxwell at RCB will certainly strengthen their team. I think with Kane Williamson included with Sunrisers Hyderabad in the way that he is significant.
I don't know if he gets in the side, Kane Williamson. Like, they've got quite a difficult problem with their overseas because obviously Jason Roy has come in. So Warner plays and Rashid Khan plays for sure. Like they're 2 bankers. You've then got Bairstow, Jason Roy, Jason Holder. Guys that, where do you fit them in? And Kane Williamson. So if Warner and Rashid Khan are playing, you'd assume that Bairstow will play because he's been in great form. So it means you've got 1 more slot for Williamson.
So there's
Roy.
4. There's 4.
You can play 4. Williamson, Roy, or Holder. You've got 1 slot for 3 of them. I assume Bairstow will play because they'll probably want him to keep wicket as well. And in terms of form wise, he's was man in the series in the recent one dayers, which he scored a lot of runs. So interesting to see how they go and how they balance their side because there's going to be a couple of very fine cricketers that aren't going to get a gig.
But isn't it more to do with the? I think it's more to do with the when it gets to the point end of the season where it's a real problem because they'll mix and match the 4 whenever they need them.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be 2 in there, isn't it? Warner and Rashid Khan will play all of them. That means that I guess it's Royal Williamson for one slot. I don't know. It's an interesting decision they've got, and I mean, it's not the worst problem to have, but I imagine that Roy will probably miss out, which is a shame because he's been him and Bairstow. Even though their personal forms are pretty good, him and Bairstow together are, arguably and people are you'll disagree with me, but on stats, they're the best opening one-day combination probably ever to play. So that they're a very good partnership together.
Yeah. Okay. It's going. We'll see the match now. Official side saying he's looking forward to seeing two young players for Sunrisers Hyderabad. I mean, who they are? They are Abhishek Sharma and Abdul Samad. So their official side. Tell us more about those. So I'm not fully aware of their play at this point, but we'll find out more about those. We're going to do over the next few days. The first game is April 9th, not 7th. I made a mistake with an earlier call. It's April 9th, which is just under a week away. We'll be doing some broadcasts specifically on sides. So Chris and I, depending on your availability, we'll do the general discussion today, but we will hone in back on the teams again, because since we last did that, which was about a month or so ago, there's been a lot of additions and subtractions from that. I'm just very impressed with Rishabh Pant. I think he's going to really stand out. And Maxwell, but I think Rishabh Pant will make a big difference. Let's look. What's some of the questions? What do you think? Which team will win the test? Okay. We're not going to talk about the test championship today. We'll keep that for another show. But I still maintain that India will beat New Zealand. So Shahrukh Khan is with Rajasthan Royals. That's a good point. So again, just I want to go back to the captaincies again. Okay, I want to make this really clear in my head. So the captains are very significant. As you said, Owen Morgan with KKR, massive. Puts them in the top teams probably. Delhi Capitals with Rishabh Pant. To me, that's a winning selection. Mumbai's got Rohit Sharma. We know that they got the Pandays and quite a few players, but Rohit Sharma's their captain. RCB with both, and De Villiers is playing, correct?
Yeah, he'll be there. I saw him yesterday going into the bubble. Also, I'm looking forward to seeing him back. He's one of my favourite players. So.
Who's Gale playing for?
Yeah, he's with Punjab.
Right. So back to RCB. We've got Kohli there. You've got the Punjab. We'll have the KL Rahuls, Punjab Kings. You'll have Chennai Super Kings. Will still have Dhoni. He is still going to be captaincy material. Rajasthan Royals. You said
Stokes, Butler. Obviously, Archer's not there for the first bit, which is a shame for him. But they'll have to try and find a good replacement. I think that Rajasthan and Chennai will be battling out for the bottom slot. I think they'll be the bottom two sides, especially now with no Archer.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And you even though the likes of Samson's captaincy, he's not a bad player. He hasn't figured in any of the national selections, which is a bit of a shock. But obviously,
he's consistently. He's a great batter. He keeps wicket. I agree with you. It would have been good to see him, but it just shows sort of the quality of the depth of talent they've got. India, it's fair play. If a guy like him isn't getting a gig, then that's a pretty nice problem to have.
But Samson has played national. He has played national colours.
I think he's played in the T20 side, possibly one day.
Yes, they must have been too impressed with his form previous to that, so they're not to get a go again. Okay. With Dhoni, there's a lot of questions about his captaincy, but he's still nothing about his ability to captain, but about his ability, age-wise, form-wise, to be able to be the lead. Because his leadership is by example. You'd have to agree. Dhoni's a leader by example, and therefore his own performance is very important to that in terms of working out how good the team will go, and that's probably the crux of the issue. So Abhishek Sharma comes from the same batch of under-19 World Cup winners as Prithvi Shaw and McGill, yes, and he is an all-round left-hand spinner and left-hand dynamic batsman. Interesting to see how he goes. And I was talking about Australia and their comparative under-19s team. The Bukovskis Will Sutherland and Jason Sanger came from that team, and really only one's gone on. The other two have not gone on, and it's been a bit of a disappointment from that perspective that we haven't had that. The under-19 to me team is a sign of where players come from. Both Mitchell Marsh, in fact, he captained the Australian side. He was captain of the under-19s, and there's a natural development that you would expect to happen from that, but it doesn't seem to be happening at the moment. Okay. Dreamer DD. I agree with you. Mumbai Indians is the best T20 franchise or league or international level. I wouldn't have it international, but certainly in that league they are in this franchise format. But I have to say that they can't continue to win. It will not be because they're not good enough, that things just won't go their way. What happened to Jason Sanger? Great question. Jason Sanger is still an important part of Randwick Petersham here. Has played for New South Wales, but he just hasn't kicked on after scoring centuries against everybody. England, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, at the national team level in the warm-up matches, he killed them. So I still believe he's still only in his early 20s. We're going to see by 24, 25, we'll see him. Garrett Bunker saying Rajasthan Royals need to buy some more good Indian players, spend less on foreign players. Fair call. And Biram Irani says size doesn't matter. I'm not sure what he's talking about, but we won't go there. Okay. Do you think Mumbai Indians are going to win 3 in a row, Chris?
I think there's a good chance. Yeah, I mean, if you look at, I don't know when their boys are joining up the South African contingent. I think Quinton de Kock's missing the first few because he's on international duty to South Africa. So I think there's a good chance if you look at their Indian players. They've got Bumrah, both Pandyas, Sky Yadav, Ishan Kishan's there as well, Rohit Sharma. I mean, they've got a pretty tasty. I've always said that the sides who are good in the IPL are the sides that have a really sort of stable, good backbone of Indian talent, and that's probably why they've won it, because their Indian guys could probably win most of the games anyway, whereas a lot of the other sides rely heavily on their overseas players, and then the Indian guys aren't as good. So there's certainly a good chance. I wouldn't be writing them off, that's for sure.
So Ishan Kishan, I thought he was a Delhi Capitals player.
No, he's Ishan Kishan's a Mumbai Indian. So they've got him, Sky, Rohit, both Pandyas, Bumrah, Rahul Chahar, the leg spinner. So no, they've got a pretty tasty lineup there.
They have. Sometimes too many chefs spoil the broth. And I think that even though they've played sensationally for 2 seasons and won it, they're not likely to win 3. I mean, they've won the most championships, haven't they? They've won 5 in total. But, yeah, I don't know. All right. Sam Curtin is high strike rate in Chennai team. He should be promoted in the batting. Well, certainly after his last performance in the ODI with his 95 not out, he certainly should be. And they all stayed back, as far as I'm aware, so they're all there. So they'll be well and truly practicing.
Yeah.
Okay, viewers, I need to know. I would like to get can you buy the IPL shirts in England?
Yeah, I would have thought so. I haven't looked, but I imagine we probably can.
Okay. I haven't properly looked in Australia. Maybe our India counterparts can arrange something. We can get these tops. We might organise some way of getting them if we can. That'll be great. I'm not sure whether to wear a Delhi. I'm going to wear Delhi Capitals, so I think they're going to win, but I'm still a cold-blooded Knight Riders fan. Why is KKR failing the IPL? It's been 7 years since they won the last cup. It's a very good question because they've had some great coaching. They've had some great captaincies, and they've generally been a very good side. And they've gone close, but they haven't actually won it. So is it their year? Well, it's going to depend on how well Mumbai Indians play. But I think Delhi Capitals KKR final may be possible. What's your thoughts, Chris, on that?
Yeah, I just think KKR haven't quite ever achieved, that they need to kick on. They've got some really good players. They just never seem to, Morgan had quite a quiet one last year. Andre Russell is certainly, undercooked, so maybe they need a bit of a shake-up and go into and have guys take responsibility. Shubman Gill's there, isn't he? So maybe this is his year he's due to really kick on and to take charge of that batting lineup. But they need Owen Morgan and Andre Russell to stand up. You know, Andre Russell only scored 100-something runs last year, so you know he needs to step up. You know, is he past it? Is he not the player he was? Possibly, but maybe it's a good year to show everyone that he's still got it.
Well, Suresh Rainer's back for CSK as well.
Yeah.
And I think he's still got it. He's a tremendous player.
Yeah, you just worry with CSK that they're just an old side. You know, they've got Dhoni, who's captain-wise fine. He's still a good captain, but he's past his best, isn't he? You know, he's not last 2 or 3 years. He's not scored the runs he should. And you know, you've got Rayner there. You've got a couple of others, and you just think they need a refresh. Really, they just look like quite an aging side. And you know, these younger sides are probably going to do the better of them again. And I'd be amazed to see them in the top 4, CSK.
But you look at Chris Gale, like talking about true age. He's what, 41?
Yeah, but he's in a young side. You know, he's not. There's not 11 Chris Gales in that team, and you know he looks like he's still got it a bit more than Dhoni has. You know, Dhoni looks like he's had that pace and aggressive batting. You know, it looks like it's a bit more sort of he's batting within himself, probably because he doesn't feel he's capable of giving it a whack anymore. So it's really tough. You know, obviously CSK are one of sort of the powerhouses in the IPL, but I just can't see them being anywhere near the top 4 this year, which, you know, there's every chance I'm wrong, but I don't see where their runs and wickets come from. There's no standout guys for that.
I tell you what, Anshuman Gulsum says, never write off a team that is led by MS Dhoni, and that's a fair comment. His presence around the team.
Yeah, but the sides that he's had presence in were brilliant sides. You know, he could come and captain, you know, he could go and captain the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Doesn't mean they're going to win the Rugby World Cup. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't, you know, he's always had a good side. And when you've got a good side, you can rile players. And if it's a Sachin Tendulkar or, you know, Rishabh Pant, it's easy to get good players to stand up for games. But if you've got not a very good side, you know, it's pretty tough to. I just don't see them being able to win, and I wouldn't be surprised if they finish bottom.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, Biram Irani's making the comment, Dhoni is now the Energizer Bunny, but without batteries. And that's no reference to the South Sydney Rabbitohs, by the way. The Energizer Bunny's got nothing categorically to do with South Sydney Rabbitohs.
Yeah, but they're the bunnies. They're the rabbits, aren't they?
Correct. Rabbitohs.
The South Sydney Rabbits.
Rabbitohs. The fact is, Rabbitohs Rabbitohs have actually won 38-0 against a very ordinary Canterbury Bulldogs team, which normally does well. So, yeah, I think there's
it's a good time of the year for the rabbits, isn't it? Because obviously the Easter bunnies, you know, and the Easter rabbits. So,
oh yeah,
you know, it's a good time of the year for you guys.
So, is that video real that you showed at the Nets? Is that real?
Honestly. Yeah, why? Oh yeah, the rabbit. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
You must have had a big laugh when you saw that.
I did. I thought that's Norman's come to watch us. He's a rabbit.
So it was a rabbit in your nets. Are you joking?
Yeah, it didn't look very healthy. I don't think it. I'd be surprised if it was still alive. It looked pretty ropey. So
well, yeah. after you hit it with the cricket bat or cricket ball, I'm not surprised it wouldn't be too well. Are you a rabbit basher?
I'm not only when it comes to rugby. You know, and you're obviously a Rabbits fan. So
rugby league. It's not rugby. I mean, are you sure you didn't take out you exact some revenge on the poor rabbit?
I would never do that to the rabbit.
Should I call cruelty to animals?
You can try. I had a 9-year-old I was coaching, so I'm sure he wouldn't be very happy if I'd started whacking a rabbit around the head. So I think I'll get away with it.
Or did you coax the 9-year-old to hit the rabbit? What's the true story?
Just told him how to play a pull shot on a cover drive, Norman. That's me.
I'm very suspicious that rabbit was already. You're defending yourself by saying the rabbit was not well. It's a rather clever way to next photograph you'll see will be dead on the sideline there, and you'll claim it was roadkill or something. I'm very upset.
I think I'll get away with it.
All right. So your father has mentioned to me and messaged good old Barnstead boy about the COVID situation in India, and there was a post which has been sent through where we've obviously Axar Patel's been deemed to be positive. Now, was he already in the bubble for his team? He's playing IPL.
Axar.
Does that mean the whole of the team that Axar Patel is playing for is also under scrutiny now?
I wouldn't have thought so. I think they get tested on their way into the bubble, and so maybe he's tested positive. He's probably joining up a week before, which would have been yesterday if it starts on the 9th. So maybe I think they'll get tested on their way into the bubble. So that makes sense. That makes sense. That would make sense to me. That maybe he's been tested on his way into the bubble, tested positive, and therefore can't join up at the moment.
So that means he's ruled out of the whole tournament, or just?
I don't think so. I think it'd just be a 10 week to 10 days test again. And he'll be back in. He might even play for the start.
Okay. We're joined by Alan Mullally.
Hello, how are you?
Hello, mate. You all right?
Yeah, hey, buddy. How are you?
Good, thanks.
I'm doing it for my bedroom because it's a thunderstorm around here.
That's no good. So,
well,
we're just talking about some of the.
We were given the forecast for the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Not a cloud in the sky. And today's been hosing down. So go figure.
Well, we had the opposite in Sydney. We had a great deal of sunshine here, and Chris. Everybody was down the beach, and as you probably have heard, Australia has complete and utter freedom. There's no lockdown. There's no masks to be worn on buses, trains, Ubers, whatever. Yeah. So there are no restrictions to how many people can be inside of a club. Clubs are open, nightclubs, restaurants, cafes. There are queues outside. Here,
unfortunately.
So, Chris, how are you coping back there?
It's gradually opening out a bit more. This week we're restrictions eased. You can meet up to 6 people outside, and we're allowed to get back on the golf course. First game of cricket is coming up this Saturday, which is quite early, but yeah. So I think 6 people are now allowed to meet outside, but not allowed inside. So it's tough, but we've got through the worst of it.
But you also have to bear in mind. Well, I'll try and tell you this. My brother-in-law's a Geordie from Northumberland, and his sister had a stroke about 4 or 5 years ago, I think, in a wheelchair, home care. Sorry, and her daughter's a nurse, and they can't leave the house. And her husband, can you imagine? She's I think she's about 60, 55, and the husband been canned from his job. So now look after her. She's in a wheelchair. And it's just I'm getting stuttering now, so it just breaks my heart. They have not yet in Northumberland been given the anti-vaccine. And
so Chris, tell me, so you're able to play golf?
I can't get the words out, sorry, Chris, because it's just too much.
Yeah, it's not nice. And I said I've known people who you see on the news. People have had family members die, and they can't go to the funeral. It's pretty tough. So
sorry, Chris. They're told if you go to your front yard, you're not allowed to. That's communism.
Yeah, I mean it's just one of those.
Now, if you want to get into politics, I've learned a lot of that stuff in America here, but I won't because we're here for cricket. Now, Chris, give me a quick masterclass on the IPL.
Masterclass on the IPL. I mean, just looking forward to it, really, aren't we?
Abu Dhabi and Dubai, with nobody looking.
So this is obviously in India now, so we'll have a much more balanced approach. They're not playing in their home grounds. They're playing in designated grounds. There'll be no home ground advantage. There'll be no.
Ahmedabad. How great a stadium is that one?
Yeah. So it's certainly we were talking to Preeti, Alan, and it's tough to from my perspective, and you'll probably agree, being played a lot in England.
Whatever you say, I agree. I'm not going to argue with anymore.
No argument. I mean, in terms of what I don't see a stadium like that as a nice cricket ground. I see it as a stadium, whereas you play in England and you go to the little village grounds, the thatched roof pavilions, or some of the county grounds. Scarborough around the circle. I think what a lovely cricket ground. Whereas you see Ahmedabad or Brisbane, and you think it's just a fantastic stadium, isn't it? But we're the English side of things. You see some cricket grounds, and you think, geez, it's very different, isn't it? To even Australian grounds, they're more sports grounds, aren't they?
Chris, how old are you?
29.
I'm with you. I'm dead with you. You can't beat.
So aren't you going to ask me how old I'm also 29.
No, you're 31.
Well,
you know, Chris,
together,
I know where you're coming from. I know where you are coming from, and I agree totally. You can't beat when you have a pre-season playing for Hampshire, and you get to Cambridge for the first game back in the when I played in the 90s, etc. And you can't wait to go for your lunch when you have all these toffees like yourself going, oh, it's wonderful to play against Arnold Lunny. He plays for England. It's great.
I'm not a toffee.
Some half volley. And then we have salad. Norman, yes. It's about 5 degrees. Wind chill factor is even colder. And we have salad for lunch with a bit of chicken salad. And there you go. Grab a bowl, chaps.
All right.
But you know what?
So we're getting some commentary now. We're getting some commentary about my age. People are saying I'm lying, that I'm actually 19. Thank you, Anshuman Gutam and Biram Arani. Obviously, they know age better than the other two guys on the phone. All right, now back to the IPL, which is what we're here for. We need to make it very, very clear that this is going to be a very important tournament when you're talking in conjunction with the World Cup, because the T20 form on the board will help shape the Indian side, actually. Don't you think, Chris, that they're going to be taking a lot of the form out of this to help shape their side?
I think a lot of the start. I think India more than most, just because they're going to have so many more players playing in it. But it depends how India want to go. They might have already got their squad they want to pick finalised, but I'm sure there'll be a couple of slots for form players. It might be that Sky Yadav or Ishan Kishan gets that additional slot if they have a really good tournament. So just be interesting to see how they go, and I'm just looking forward to it. Not looking forward to doing your shows and not talking about England, to be honest. It'll be nice to talk about something a bit more neutral.
Just quickly, Axar Patel, if he's now positive, he has to spend 2 weeks in quarantine at the very least. But does that mean he automatically comes after that back into the squad? Or he gets tested? Alan, you're getting there's some background noise. When you're not talking, you need to go on mute because there's a lot of background noise.
Hang on, I'll rejoin you. Hang on.
Okay.
Norman, I've got to go in 5 minutes. That's all right. I've got stuff on.
Yeah, that's right. We'll finish up with your. So the fact remains that
it's all right.
Shami's back.
Oh God!
And looks fitter. Apparently, he's looking fitter than ever, even though he had that broken arm. Bumrah is also going to be. Well, Bumrah's playing, correct?
I think so. Yeah.
So there'll be a lot of interest around the way they bowl because of their significance for the World Cup. Those two will need to obviously perform on the stage in preparation for that. They don't need to prove their ability. We know their ability, but in terms of good practice, it'll be good for them both. But Axar Patel may not have been that figured, maybe not that prominently, but I would argue that I hope they keep him out for more than 2 weeks. They need to make sure that there's no lingering aspect to this, because
I still stick by what I said about Axar Patel in the Test series with England. I don't see him playing a lot of international cricket at all. I think that he's always been a solid one-day IPL player. He's certainly never been a incredible, or certainly never been a massive match winner. He's just been one of those, sort of like a Krunal Pandya. He's been a mainstay and done a job with battle ball at times, and I really don't see him having a great Test career, Axar Patel. I don't see him playing loads of Tests. I know that he ran through England a few times in the series over here, but the pitch has helped and England's batting was really poor. So, and when Jadeja's back and Ashwin's back, I really don't see Axar Patel having a huge Test career either. So, and you guys will shout at me for saying that after the second Test, but I stand by that because I think there are better options out there. So, I don't think that he's a huge miss who the side he plays for in the IPL. He's obviously a miss, and they'll have to replace him, but he's not a Bumrah or a Kohli or a KL Rahul or a AB de Villiers. So, hopefully he gets back and he tests negative and can get back playing. But, I don't think he's ever been a massive game changer. He does a bit with both, with bat and ball. So
that's true. That's true. Yeah, look. So as I said earlier, we're going to have allocation of people to it. I've made clear who the 8 are. That includes us two. David Gravy's very keen to get involved. Give him a team. Monty and Adam will support the teams that they want to, that adds up to 5. The partner pretty as well. And DeBarsis may make an appearance. Well, he will be making an appearance on both platforms. I'm very happy that we're going to have a dual platform at certain stages, and a consequential platform, which means the audiences will flow through on both. So, yeah, it'll be great. It'll be certainly great. So it'll be one of those things that I think it's. I actually think this will be one of the best series. Now, why I'm saying that is because of the importance of the World Cup that follows. There'll be a lot more attention on this than in previous World Cup, previous IPLs, because of the World Cup following in India. Don't you think there'll be a lot of interest as to how the teams go, pending, or players go, pending the actual series following? I think that's a very significant.
No, definitely.
It's pretty impressive indeed. All right, so what we're going to do in the future shows, if you can look at the way Chris, you talked about the so-called fantasy teams. 1, secondly, the allocation of teams which you know now. Yours is RCB, and thirdly, we'll get so you need to tell me your time slots that suit you, but we'll be having.
Yeah, I need to sort that out this week. I need to check diary and check plans, so I'll have to you'll have to bear with me on that. I've got next few weeks are flat out, especially as cricket starting on Saturday.
That's right. That's right. Once it all settles down, you'll know better, and we'll be able to coordinate towards the back end of the
series. It might be
series.
easier evening time for me, sort of 7, 8 o'clock at night, which would be really early for you. So we'll work something out.
I'm a big boy. I can handle that, so that's not a problem. So we'll certainly do that. The other issue is around some of the lives that we'll have with extra time, and like when you're available, you can come on that as well, because that'll be relevant to
perfect.
and our platform as well. But do have a look at Sri Harsh's platform for the voiceover for the Rishabh Pant. So that's a very big thing. So I've just got Alan's okay. Aparna's very excited because she's now in a monetized state on her YouTube. She's finally got there. But it does help to have, Minister of Communications in your back pocket. She's got a bit of help there, I think. Which is a positive thing, not a bad thing. And maybe Pretty won't be allowed back into America. She's in the Virgin Islands there, and she seems to be enjoying herself too much. And I couldn't believe the lack of protocols about when you return in terms of quarantine. Amazing. All right, Chris, do you have to go?
Yeah, if that's all right. Yeah, I mean, I've got stuff on today, so if
that's right. That's right. Cool. I'll do a bit of a monologue. I'm waiting for Alan to come back on if he comes back on, and also I'll be doing a bit more about just quickly on the COVID issue. And your dad brought it up. Just to finish with, what do you think about this positive Ready-Vax upsell and potential of others? We have no media allowed in the grounds. We have no fans. Could that well be derailed totally by no players and a cancellation or postponement of the overall tournament? Is that factoring highly?
You think it'll be cancelled? Did you say, sorry?
Well, at the very least, postponed. If the players are under a cloud of their bubble being questioned, or the players having, not so much the bubble being questioned, but more the players falling ill, they could well see it as a threat to the players' safety, and they may well not allow it to continue until they're aware or they're safe with that. Even travelling within states and all the issues that exist there, it might well be, it could well see it postponed at the very least.
I think it's too far down the line now to postpone it. I think that they'll just have to try and manage it as best they can. I see it starting. If during it gets out of hand, then they might have to take a dim view like they did in the PSL. But I don't see them not starting it at least. So.
Well, let's hope it's just Akshar Patel has found positive, and there are other players that are entering the bubble or in the bubble that are found positive. That could really destabilise things. We will have the IPL as per schedule. Some players might as well miss, but not out now, and then due to COVID. So Anshuman Gautam's got a fair point there. Nothing of the sort will happen. It'll still occur. People who are positive will simply stay out of it. Okay, so that's the end result of that. So, all right, Chris, have you got any final words before you go?
No, I don't think so. I think that no, it's nice to be back. Obviously, it's been a few days, and I will try and get on as much as I can. Obviously, I'm really busy next couple of weeks, so I apologise in advance if you don't see too much of me, but I'll make sure we try and make things work.
But back end of the IPL, we'll see plenty of you, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll definitely be back for the IPL stuff. We might just have to play around with times and stuff. It might mean some early mornings for Norman, and we know he needs his beauty sleep. So.
Well, my beauty sleep's a thing of the past, I'm afraid. I haven't really got much of that going on anymore. So the last IPL, there were also a few players positive. Gareth Banker saying, and that was in UAE. So they handle that well. So yeah, I think we're not going to see derailment of the actual play, but it's a question that needs to be asked. And if we're in France or countries like that, we wouldn't be saying it. New Zealand exposed a new guy with high strike rate, Finn Allen. I know very little about Finn Allen. Do you know much about him?
No, not at all. I think it's Fabian Allen who replaced Felipe, and he's a West Indian. I don't think it's Finn Allen. I think he's not there. So.
Is that a mistaken name you're saying?
I think it's Fabian Allen who's playing, not Finn Allen. I think they're different players, obviously. So.
All I've seen is Finn Allen's name. I haven't seen Fabian Allen anyway.
Yeah, okay. I think it's Fabian Allen who came in for Josh Felipe, but I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong.
Can't you just check while we're talking this now?
Yeah, I can try. Is that for
I'm
RCB?
pretty sure I've Finn Allen's his name. I'm pretty sure I haven't seen any Fabian Allen anywhere. At least not in this discussion.
Okay, Finn Allen. Yeah, okay, fine. My bad. Okay. Yeah, Finn Allen. Right. Like for replacement. I don't know much about him at all, so yeah.
He must be a keeper. I'm getting an impression.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so Black Magic saying, Black Magic's returned. We haven't seen him for a while. Finn is a Kiwi. Fabian Allen's at Western Indian. Yes, that's correct. And Fabian Allen is actually with the Punjab team already. So he's already in the mix, but somewhere else. All right. Thanks, Chris. We'll speak more about the times, but your team is RCB. Mumbai Indians with Simon. David Graveney's got a team as well. We've all got teams, so we're going to make that clear. I'll put that in the actual commentary. So I don't know what I'm getting. Alan's having a problem with the link for some reason. So I think he might be. All right, Chris, we'll say goodbye.
See you later, guys. Yeah, good seeing you. We'll catch up soon, I'm sure.
Okay, thanks, Chris.
Cheers, Norman. Bye.
Good timing. You got your hand over the screen.
I'll give you good tidings.
You got your hand over the screen, Chris. Alan?
Just give me 2 seconds, buddy. Oh, I've got the hang of it now, I think. Give me 2 seconds. No, shit.
Screen up.
Oh. My iPad's pissed me about, to be fair.
There we are. You had it then. All right.
Right, can I get a cup of tea? So that way,
come more to the one side.
That way there. I'll turn these out. Hang on. Mum. God, you bloody well for 83.
Okay, right. Okay, so Chris has work commitments. He's been here for a good hour already. So we'll talk now a bit about just quickly the captains of the 8 teams. I'll go through them with you, Alan. Okay. So the 8 teams we have Mumbai Indians.
Yep.
captained by Rohit Sharma. Okay.
Yep.
The Royal Challengers Bangalore are captained by Virat Kohli. Owen Morgan's got Kolkata Knight Riders. Dave Warner's got Sunrisers Hyderabad. Punjab Kings is with KL Rahul. Delhi Capitals is with Rishabh Pant. And the last but not least is Samson is with the Rajasthan Royals. So they're the 8 team. Sorry, I've looked at CSK. Chennai Super Kings is with Dhoni and will have help from Raina. So they're significant. I'm saying Delhi Capitals because they've got a vibrant bunch of young players, as well as Delhi Capitals captain Rishabh Pant. Mumbai Indians has won the last 2 series in a row with Rohit Sharma. And Kohli's with Royal Challengers Bangalore, which has A.B. de Villiers in the side as well. A very strong team. With Glenn Maxwell's also there. So it's a very strong team. We were going to talk about Kohli and his captaincy and his play. What were you going to talk about with Kohli, Alan?
Well, I've been asked the question, who's the better player, Kohli or Tendulkar? I think Kohli's a lovely, lovely player. He scores runs very quickly with that. Like, he'll score a 50, and you will not think he's at the wicket. He's brilliant. But you can't compare eras. I know that. But for me, Sachin all day of the week. Why do I say that? Well, because it's all well and good facing Cummings at 88 mile an hour. Yeah, done that. Wonderful. Might nip one away, bowl straight. They proved they've got no variance over here last summer. I'd love to see Kohli face Wasim Akram, Waqar Younis, Murali, Warney. Okay, let's start with Waqar and Wasim. 90 mile an hour reverse swing. I was clocked at 94 mile an hour in the World Cup in 1999 when I had Chauncey Rose went to got about there and got, sorry. When I had Pollock saying, you got no pace. We're like, really? Okay, fair enough. Whatever you reckon. I'd love to see him face Alan Donald on a spicy one.
Who?
I
Kohli.
think, and Sachin did that from the age of 16. For me, Sachin, by a million miles. Kohli's not faced a Wasim or a Waqar or a Donald or a Warney or a Murali.
Well, he has faced Warney.
Not his heyday. I bet, I'll tell you right now. How did he play Warney? How did Kohli play Warney?
Well, he's played Warney better than Rush, the Abdul Rashid recently. Abdul Rashid had the better of him.
You know something? I played a game. It's called The Rest of the World against the Asian 11 at the Oval. We were paid £5,000 a pop. I went in with Shane, and he looked at the list, Sachin, and then Shane pulled out. The one man who had Shane's number was Sachin.
Had Shane's number. Well,
I'm not saying that Kohli's not a brilliant player. Absolutely not. He's a beautiful. I love even my mum. God, it's like a right-hand David Gow, but even better. Just scores runs like, oh, he's got 50. He's not playing a shot in anger. But has he faced the likes of a Waqar, or even the Shoaib Akhtar? There's a different ballgame facing 88, 85 mile an hour, Cummings and the rest of them. Well, it's nice. Yeah, it's nice. Yep. Try it when it's about a yard quicker, 2 yards quicker, and reverse swinging. Good luck. I can say that without, obviously, as you know, I've played the game a little bit. There's a guy called Peter Willey when Waqar Younis first came on the circuit in 1990 for Surrey. We had a coach called Bob Simpson. God, that was funny. I'll never forget it. He goes, there's no such thing as a Yorker. It's just a misjudgment of length. That's what Bob Simpson, right, said to Peter Willie. Been around a bit, Peter Willie, 41 years of age. Then there's photos, if you want to research them, of Wakar Yunus when he first came on the scene. He was rapid. I think it was Tim Boone.
Wakar Yunus and Wasim Akram, that combination would have to be the best. Either the best or one of the best in the world, for sure.
Maybe I'll hire a chair, Mum. I'm going to put this down a bit low. Hang on. I've got this new stand. There's a pain in the bottom.
Get yourself settled, Alan.
Let's try and sort things out here. Is that better?
So there is some discussion here in the group. Hang on a minute. There's some discussion in the group about Sachin being in hospital. What's that all about? I haven't heard that at all. Is that?
Nothing. No, there's nothing major. I don't think.
Was it a COVID-related matter?
I saw something the other day. It's nothing major.
So why is he in there then?
I'm trying to think what it was now. I need my mobile next to me go do 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 do.
I'm just going to find it. I'm just googling away on his.
There's nothing major, I don't think.
Every time I put in Sachin in hospital, I want to bring up his house.
They want to what?
When I bring up Sachin in hospital, it brings up his house. Hang on.
I've got his phone number here if you want it.
No, we don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, no. Don't want to get that on overhead, do we?
So it's saying that they're saying that he has COVID-19.
You mean the Chinese virus? By the way, Norman, have you had your first jab?
I have it booked in, yes.
So when do you get it?
I believe it's going to be within the next week. It's a matter of availability. That's the problem.
I
so it's saying
yeah, that's right. Well, we had the first one last Sunday. I think it's called AstraZeneca or something.
Yeah, the English one.
Yeah. Norman, my sister works in the medical world, and she goes, "Oh, Alan, I couldn't lift my arm up; it was killing me, and I felt ill.
Tired.
I was so tired, and all the side effects." And my mate in the hospital, she works at a hospital, she's in the medical world, and my mate, he works in the pharmacy, and he was dying. Oh, how do you feel? Fine.
Never had any side effects.
How's Mum feel? 83 years of age this year. Fine.
Never had any side effects at all.
So yeah, but no, the sooner you get it done, and me, I'm going to wait 3 months now. So that's okay. Our game plan. Talk about me and you, by the way, and the guys listening. Yeah. I reckon maybe November for Punjab.
Well, that sounds exciting. We'll plan for that. That's for sure. Yeah. So that's the intention. So I'm just trying to find out more about. I know you're saying it's nothing serious, but anything to do with Sachin Tendulkar is always treated as very serious, and I'm just curious as to what the developments are exactly. It's not clear. So it was only. So it's a minute. Getting the coronavirus is no more than the flu for most people, so it's not to be taken seriously.
It's even less than a cold. It's all politics. I won't get into that. And the thing is, Norman, as you know, looking after your mum, me too. Mum's 83. I know back to front. It's all science, and too many people is like. Excuse me.
Changing their mind.
Excuse me. You got this bloke who runs America called Biden, who can't speak a sentence, who's been fully vaccinated, wearing 2 masks. It's all politics. Wear masks. It's all just, I don't want to go into that. Just want to have fun. Let's talk about the IPL. And let's talk about, ask me a question about, oh my Lord. Actually, Mum, you can ask me a question. I'm so excited with the IPL and the T20. And the game has changed. And you ask me, Mum, I'm jumping out of my chair.
Yeah.
Ask me why.
So
ask me why I get so excited, Mum. Nothing to do with bowling or batting. but the fielding and on the boundary.
Oh yeah.
On the boundary.
Oh, the catches and
things they
things
do.
like that.
Oh, it just blows my mind.
So for the viewers at home, Alan's talking to his mother, just so we know that he's not talking to himself.
Yeah, my mum does follow cricket a lot. My mum used to do, when I played for Gibbs Street under 13s, my mum did the scoring. Perth under 14s, under 16s. And my mum was there all the way when I was watching when I played made my one only person, the Sheffield Shield debut against Ian Botham and Alan Border and Greg Ritchie, Craig McDermott in 1988, Mum, when I was 18. Had to borrow my brother's cricket boots. So
can I quickly ask you, just when you got given the English position to play in the team, where were you when did that happen again?
I was in the reception at the Leicestershire County Ground. Got a phone call by Sky TV. Al, can we come down and interview you? I said, why? Well, you've been picked to play for England. Oh, really? Wonderful. That's how it was in those days with England. You wonder why we couldn't win anything. There was no pride. The baggy green is like royalty.
Well, Steve Wars. Steve Wars.
In those days, we don't. It's just you got to play for England. Yeah, go on. Yeah, crack on. Got play in the IPL tomorrow. The soccer. Yeah, okay. Got work to do. It didn't mean much. There was once in oh God, in 1990. No, it's around 2002, around there. A county ground.
Okay, we might. A lot of viewers are wanting to talk about the IPL, Alan. We've got to be careful.
Okay.
So this is about the IPL, so we've got to go return to that, and we'll talk specifically about the teams. So in the northern region, you've got Punjab Kings, as I've told you. They were originally called Kings 11 Punjab. They're now called Punjab Kings. It's with KL Rahul, significant team. Kolkata Knight Riders to the northeast, of course, with Owen Morgan, a significant team. You have the likes of the Rajasthan Royals on the far west with their team, and they have a captain of Samson. They have Delhi Capitals, which is then next north.
If I get involved with coaching them, I would love to. My favourite players, who will be the main players of the whole lot, obviously Kohli.
A few players Royal Challenge Cup, Bungay, yeah.
Pant, yeah, depends. Pant, Bumbury, and that lefty, the short bloke, like Chaminda Vasmindia.
The Natarajan. So your four main players are Kohli, Dhoni, Punt, and Natarajan.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. Because they and also the guy whose dad passed away when he was
Mohammad Siraj.
They are my favourite. They are my. Will they do well or not? I don't know. I don't care. You know what? They are my favourite cricketers in the whole wide world. When I was a kid, yeah, Viv Richards, Michael Holding, Alan Border, Dennis Lilly, Graham Gooch, Ian Botham. But I watched those kids out here as net bowlers. So they played Test cricket and do what they did. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. It's funny, you know, Norman. I've been very lucky in a position. I know in India, I wouldn't know who Mick Jagger is or Bryan Adams or Her Majesty the Queen. Met the whole lot. I love to get Pants autograph.
That's good.
I think they are absolutely. Well, even my mum, who's 83 this year, was watching it all hours of the night, going, "This is absolutely unbelievable." These kids. Mum calls them these kids. She might as well said my kids because it was just so brilliant.
Okay, all right. So we're going to go back to Sundar Lal. Who was your favourite team for the season? My favourite team. Well, I have a soft spot for Kolkata Knight Riders, but definitely Delhi Capitals is the favourite for me. Mumbai Indians are on paper the best team, but I'm not sure whether they're going to be able to achieve 3 in a row. So that's some of the questions we're getting. So we're getting people wanting to know about that relationship, certainly. So, and Royal Challenger Bengals is my favourite of Mohammad Afzal because of 3 players. That is AB de Villiers, Maxwell, and Virat. And that's quite a combination. But maybe they're stocked too heavily with
I don't care about names. I don't care about names. The guy, the right armour who played over here and then played in the, I think it's the last test. I think it was over there.
Mohammed Siraj.
Whatever team he plays for, I support. Because that kid's got character above and beyond belief. They cannot believe.
All right.
Whatever team he plays for, I'm supporting.
Okay,
Win, lose or draw, don't care. That kid's got character. That kid's going to go a long way. Whether it's cricket
we need
or nothing else, doesn't matter for me.
So we've been on for an hour and 15 minutes as a total, Alan. So I'm trying not to keep it as long as I sometimes do. So we may have to end it there.
Time
so,
flies.
Alan, any last thoughts, Alan?
You know what? I was watching the other day on TV here, Fox News, like you would do there, Norman. It must be hard. Like I was watching South Africa against Pakistan in front of nobody. And the guys have been doing this for a long, long time now. And that must be very, very hard because there's nothing better. I loved it when I walked out of Lord's, full house, 32,000 people World Cup, or the MCG, 90,000, SCG, over in India, big houses, crowd. The commentators, they're up for it because they all turn up. There's a big crowd, it's all buzzing. And to turn up with nobody there, you must feel very, very flat. And Ravi Shastri, who I know very well, is one of my heroes. When India beat England, I think the Test series, he said, it doesn't matter who won. For the guys to turn up and play cricket every single day in front of nobody, they get up in the morning, isolated. Have breakfast, isolated. On the coach, the bus, isolated. Go to the ground, train, warm up, play. Same thing, come home. For month after month after month. When you're used to playing in front of so many people, that's hard work. It's not playing cricket. But I take my hat off to, win, lose or draw, whoever wins the T20 or the World Cup, I tilt my hat to every single person who's turned out and played to give us the privilege of watching them play. True. I really, truly believe that. Even my mum, who's 83, God bless her, she followed cricket for a long, long time. She goes, now, I don't know how they do it. I just don't know how they do it. And she was almost about to break down. That's why she just walked off now. About to break down tears, going, I just don't know how to do it. So I am so, so proud. I want to say this, Norman, of every single cricketer, of every single nation, and all the administration who've organised all this stuff to just let us watch a game of cricket. It's been a tricky old year.
It certainly has. All right, thanks, Alan, for that. We'll finish on that note. So all the viewers, don't forget to view, like, and share the post. Make sure you subscribe. We'll have more live coverage coming up with the IPL with all the people that we've talked about. We'll have some debriefs on some matches. Well, actually, after every match is going to be a post-match review and then 2 sets of reviews on the one night. So quite a lot of action. So stay tuned. Thanks, Alan. Thanks, obviously, Chris, for being on the floor.
Norman. Now we're getting to this weird thing. Should I have my Twitter feed on there?
Yeah, I can see Alan Spider Mullally. That's your Twitter feed?
Yeah. Alan Spider Muller on Twitter.
Okay. We'll put on the message on there. All right, guys. We'll say goodbye, everyone. All right.
And for those who are listening, me and Norman are looking forward to seeing you in India, maybe around October, November. We'll see.
All right, guys.
On a big tour.
Thanks, Alan. We'll talk soon. All the best.
Cheers, buddy.